there's a bottom to the ocean. Dig deep enough, you might find the potion. Live long enough, you might find the motion. The rhythm and precision that underlies commotion. The roots in my chest extend to my navel. Bridge to the dead, truth in the fables. Truth in the mysteries told around the campfire. Night's approaching, I can see the lamps tired. Flame flickering, tipsy with the fifth of gin. Light and dark mixing him, deep in the abyss of him. Trace the spine of a question mark to the answer. Cough out the sickness, kill the cancer.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Iron Will podcast. I chose the name Iron Will after reading the definition. The definition of Iron Will is a burning determination that cannot be stopped or hindered by anything, willing to do anything to get a desired outcome, extremely resilient. I feel like that's important because those are the types of people that we're going to be interviewing on this show. We happen to have someone like that with us today. He's my personal trainer and good friend and future co-host of this podcast. He's a father of 6 girls. He's got an incredible story. So without further ado, Jon Chase.
All right. Thanks, Shane.
Yeah.
Just want to get a shout out to Shane because he is definitely the definition of Iron Will as well. And so it makes a ton of sense that he wants to do this and inspire so many of you out. All right. So, yeah, I'm Jon Chase. I am a movement efficiency coach. So currently that's what I do. I train people, coach people in how to move more efficiently so that their bodies can function better with less pain, less injuries, and then create a more optimal body for vibrant health.
And where do you do this?
So I run my own gym right now.
Okay.
It's called Chase Movement, and just implied in the name, man, we chase movement.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know your story kind of starts at the beginning of your life. So I think that's where we want to start, is just where you grew up and how you grew up.
Okay. All right. I was born in Michigan, and shortly after I was born, we actually moved to a polygamous colony. Yeah, we did. And stayed there for a little while. My father was into that, and he wanted to have a second wife. We stayed there for a year and a half, maybe 2 years, as I was just a little kid. And my father didn't find another wife, and my mom couldn't handle it anymore. So it's pretty much like I'd rather have one wife than 0.
Yeah.
So we left, and from there moved on. We moved a lot as a kid. And there was typically a lot of turmoil going on. There was some abuse that went on, neglect, and not necessarily just from my parents, but from other people.
In the polygamous
in the polygamous area, yeah, there was definitely some abuse that went on. It was not the best place for us, and that's for sure. So once we moved on from there. We didn't get away from that kind of stuff. There was always some things that went into our home that probably should not have been there when it comes to influencing a child's mind.
Yeah.
But we'll fast forward just a little bit up to age 9.
Okay.
Age 9, we'd already moved multiple times up to that point. In fact, I've never lived anywhere for more than 4 years, and where I currently live right now, I'm on the 4th year. So this is and I'm 38 years old. So this is this will be the longest I've ever lived if I live here for 3 more months. Anyways, 9 years old was the first time I drank alcohol.
Why do you think you drank the alcohol? Was it to escape from your current situation? Was it just peer pressure or?
No, actually, no peer pressure there. In fact, I was probably the one pressuring my other friends.
Yeah.
As a 9-year-old, I had already had a lot of, I'd already been introduced to a lot of different things. We're talking pornography, lots of violence. I watched lots of, violent movies, lots of drinking, drugs, things like that. That kind of stuff went on in my home.
So it was just pretty much because you could do it?
Yeah. And
your parents weren't like watching what you were doing or?
So if we want to get really truthful, they were gone.
Yeah.
They were gone every weekend. And this isn't the episode. We'll get into why they were gone every weekend. We were unsupervised lots of times. And there were 10 kids in my family. My older sisters were typically gone for the weekend as well. They would leave, and us younger kids would be left there trying to figure out what to do. So we would go steal things and pull batteries apart and burn the floor. And we did all sorts of crazy things in the house. But one time we just got this idea. I'm like, hey, see that old man over there? There was some guy walking through. He probably wasn't old. He's probably closer to my age now, but I thought he was old, right? I'm like, you see that dude over there? He's carrying 2 cases of beer, and he set one down, or he set them both down, and then walked to his house. He was going like through the field, and we saw him set him down, and we're like, why did he leave him there? So I ran over to where he was at, and he's like, oh, I left my beer down in the field. Could you guys go get that for me? And we said, yeah, sure. So we brought him one back and kept the other one and told him, you must have only bought one.
Yeah.
So we stole it from him. And between 4 of me... Yeah, go ahead.
That was kind of... he owed you, right?
No, he actually did. He gave each of us a beer. So he already did that. There were 4 of us.
So he double paid.
Totally, yeah, totally. So we ended up having... That would be 16 beers that we shared between 4 little 9-year-olds, and there was puke everywhere. Of course, you could imagine. You can imagine the rest of the story right there. But that was the beginnings. That was the beginning of some addictions that I ended up having for quite a long time. Yeah. At a very early age.
What were you, 9?
9 years old.
9 years old.
And you talk about...
he's already on the path to being addicted to alcohol, pornography, and smoking.
So the time I drank weed, I was 9, or let's see, 11. 11 when I first drank or smoked weed. And I tried all sorts of things. We did all sorts of stuff. So the biggest thing was that I kind of wanted to cover was that as a developing mind, your prefrontal cortex doesn't even fully develop until you are in your 20s. And, they say the legal age in the United States is 21 to drink alcohol. But, even then, the prefrontal cortex doesn't even fully develop until you're about 25 for most men. And as a male at 9 years old, that prefrontal cortex, that's your decision-making center. Yeah. Okay? So if you drink before that time and it doesn't have enough time to fully, develop, then you end up with not being able to make decisions well at all. Yeah. That everything will be emotional, no rationality. You basically are making all of your decisions like you would, like a 9-year-old, as you age. So the younger you drink, the younger you consume substances that are damaging that part of your brain, you end up with, you could end up with a lot of issues. Yeah. But we'll get into the rest of the story and how I came out of that. Yeah. So let's fast forward to 12 years old. That's the next big event. When I was 12, for my birthday, my father gave me, and God rest his soul, I love him. We resolved all this stuff, so I'm not saying anything negative about him. But at the time, he was going through a lot of stuff. And for my birthday, he gave me a bag of weed, a case of alcohol, a whole case. Yeah. And then a box of porn. And it was all the old porn that he didn't want anyways.
Yeah.
And that was like me and my brother. It was like, hey, here's your birthday presents for this year. And we hadn't even seen him for probably a year
And
up
he
to that
just
point.
shows up with a box of
Yeah.
porn and alcohol and
And some weed.
yeah.
And I know, people are there's some therapeutic uses for marijuana and things like that. And I understand that. But as a teenager,
Well, I
just
think if you smoke too young, you can damage your
can
brain.
totally damage your brain.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And smoking anything, I don't care what
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. Smoking anything is not good for your lungs.
Cigarettes are even worse, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. So that was 12. By the time I was 13, I was drinking as often as I could, and this experience was one of the hardest experience I ever went through. So it started. It was a Friday night. We decided to go out drinking. I would commonly drink with my siblings and their friends. Most of my friends were too young.
Sorry, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
So I have 9
Okay.
other than me. One has passed away, and we were actually, we were drinking buddies when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
But she passed away before she turned 30 from stomach cancer.
And are you all pretty similar in age?
So we're all about 2 years apart.
Okay.
Just straight down the line.
Yeah.
My mom was either pregnant or nursing for 22 years.
Poor lady.
Yeah. And she's turned out pretty well. She's actually quite healthy now for what she went through, and
That's really
especially what she went through with my father and just the mental kind of stuff that she went through.
good. So was there like abuse between your father and mother?
So it really was more psychological
Okay.
abuse. My dad, he was actually he took psychology in college. That's what he majored in. And then he had a minor in math. Very smart, intelligent man.
Yeah.
But not when it came to even common sense.
Yeah.
He gave in to his addictions a lot. And he was a sex addict. And he went to things to try and help that. And he eventually got my mom involved and convinced her to be a swinger for a little while. And they did that for a while. They practiced that kind of stuff. They were a part of multiple religions. I mean, they tried out all sorts of things, some stuff that looked pretty freaky and that us kids witnessed. But then other things, I mean, there were times where, like, there was a closeness. So we kind of experienced everything growing up. I did. But the hardships were because of what I was introduced to at such a young age.
Yeah.
And then not really stopped.
Yeah.
There was no one that really said, hey, you should put that down.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And that's the type of thing that I've had to overcome. Psychologically, I've had to overcome a lot as an adult to not let that kind of stuff be an excuse for me to move on. You know what I mean? And to be strong and resilient. And so we're going to go right back to 13, okay?
So
If you want to hear this story, we're good, and we can discuss any of them. I have a timeline of a lot of different ones. So, 13 years old. It was Friday night. We go out drinking. There was a drinking spot up in the mountains. I had.
and this was Utah, or
This was in
where?
Utah. This was
Okay.
near Elsinore, Utah, or down by Richfield. If any of you guys know where Richfield, Utah is, it was in the mountains in that area. And small town, small county. The whole place is small. And but there was a big heart that grew out of there, and that was me. Anyways, so we went up the canyon, and I think I had to myself, I had a whole case of Keystone, the large ones. Okay, and it's gross, it's disgusting beer. But I drank 10 of them by myself. And gave 2 away to somebody else. And I was talking to someone. I don't even know who she was, but we were talking. And somehow I could understand her because she was slurring and I was slurring.
Yeah.
I was only 13. I probably only weighed 120